Hello and welcome to session 2 on string functions, and we're going to begin today with strcpy. Now you may recall we've already worked with this function, but we're going to revisit this function today as we're going to also look at other functions in this session that give us the same outcome as strcpy, and we can do a kind of comparison. So as you can see from the prototype, this function returns a character pointer and takes as arguments pointers as well. We have char star str1 and then const char star str2. Why is const applied to str2 and not to str1? Well, that's because str2 is not going to be modified. It's str1 that is going to be modified. So this function returns a pointer to str1. It copies the contents of str2 to str1, replacing the contents of str1 in essence, and str2 must be a pointer to a null terminated string. Now this is important because remember, if str2 is going to overwrite str1, then str1 itself needs to be null terminated. And you know by now we cannot have strings without that null terminator, because then that makes our code susceptible to attack. Now, what happens if strings overlap? So we could have a situation like this where the source and the destination are within the same string. Well, in that case, the behavior of strcpy is undefined, meaning that the compiler will deal with it or deal with the situation in an unpredictable manner. So the outcome could be anything from being correct to being bizarre. Now let's go to code blocks and we'll just look at a demonstration of how this function works. And you don't really need to key in this program. We will, a little later in the session, be writing our own version of string copy, and that's where you can key in the program. So hashtag include stdio.h and then hashtag include stdlib.h and hashtag include string.h. And then we have our main function. We're going to have two strings, source and destination. So let's call them src for source, and that's going to be initialized with. And we'll have another string, let's call that dest for destination, and that's just going to be 5 bytes long. And then we'll just use the function destination and source, right? So we're copying from source to destination, and then we print out the results. Destination as well. And then exit to end the program. Right, so let's run this now. And let's observe the outcome closely. So here you can see the destination has the entire string, although it's just 5 bytes in terms of its size. And source has got may overflow destination without the word this. So what exactly is happening here? Let's put in some more code to observe what is happening. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say if destination, that is the address of destination, is greater than the address of source, then we're just going to print else. And here we're going to say printf. And then we will print. So now let's run this. So here you can see destination address is before the source, right? It's writing 5 bytes and then overwriting source. The difference between source and destination is 5, which means that they are contiguous in memory, right? Just after destination, we have source, and therefore destination is writing into the source address. And therefore we have source having may overflow destination. This is actually part of destination itself, right? But because destination has overwritten the address of source, we've got destination having the entire string and then src or source having an entirely new string. I hope that's clear. Any questions you can post in the comments. Now let's look at how we can resolve this. We can put in destination having a larger size. So now if we run this, you can see that both source and destination have the same contents. Right? So bottom line is that the destination should be large enough to accommodate the source string. Right? That's important. Now what about overlapping? So let's look at that. Right, so here we'll have again two strings. So let's call that char S1 and let's initialize that too. And then char S2 equal to or initialize to the rest of the letters. And now we'll use strcpy, but we'll have our source and destination in the same string. So let's say here S2 plus 5 will be our destination, and we want to copy S2 itself. Right? And then we'll print out the results. Okay, let's run this. Okay, look what strcpy has done. First of all, S1 has been totally junked. We just have a V there. And then S2, we have said start from S2 plus 5, right? That's our destination. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's correctly started at 5. It's put in G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, but then it's gone totally awry. And this is what is called the undefined behavior. And therefore, it's not recommended at all to use strcpy when we have a situation of overlapping. Right, moving on. Write your own version of strcpy so that if the destination does not have enough space, an error is raised and the function exits. So now let's go back to code blocks and we can start a new file. Hashtag include stdio.h and then hashtag include stdlib.h and then hashtag include string.h. Right? And our function will be char star my copy. That's what we're going to call it. You can call it whatever you like. Char star str1 and char star str2. Now our main function, and we're going to have char source, and that will be equal to, and then char destination equal to the rest of the letters. And now we'll call the function, so my copy, and pass in the arguments. Right, that will be destination comma source. Right, exit 0 to end the program. And here of course we'll define our function. So char star my copy, and we have to put in the parameters now. So that will be char star str1 and char star str2. And within this right? What you could do is you could have pointers, right? So we could say here char star, let's call that source, and star destination. Okay, and then initialize destination to str1 and source to str2, right? Now we need to check whether there's enough space in the destination. So we say if strlen of destination is less than strlen of source, right? Then you can say here error and exit 1. Right, so we terminate the program. That needs to be in a code block. Else, what do? We'll just have a while star source, that is, it's not equal to null. And we just have star destination equal to star source plus plus, right? And then we need to return. So return str1 comma str2, right? Now when it returns, we should print them out. So let's add a print statement here. Printf destination %s comma destination, and printf source as well, right? So let's run this now. You can see that destination has been overwritten in terms of those first 5 characters, right, by the characters in source, and the rest of it has remained the same, which is what one would expect with strcpy, right? Now, what if we change this and wrote source first to be the destination? Or if you don't want to confuse things, you could change the names of the arrays. I think that's better. So I'll change this to destination and change this to source, right? Now if we run this program, it says error, not enough space in destination, and our process returns 1, right? So I hope that's clear. Moving on. memcpy. Now this function works with bytes, right? Any function that starts with the words mem works with bytes. From the prototype, you can see this function returns a pointer to what we'll see shortly. It takes as arguments pointers as well, but it also has size t count. And you can see that the pointers are destination and source. Copies count bytes from source to destination, returns a pointer to the destination. If the arrays overlap, again, behavior is undefined. So now what we're going to do is we'll go to code blocks and we'll look at a demonstration of how memcpy works. We'll use the same program, right? So I'm going to start with this code. So I'll comment out this one. And here we'll use memcpy. Now we've got to provide count as well. So we'll say here strlen of source, right? Let's run this. So you can see now memcpy has put in the strings and both of them have the same results. And that's mainly because there is enough space. Reduce this to 5 and let's see how memcpy handles this. So what's happening here? You can see that dest or destination has got this may overflow destination, but then it's got some other characters. Where do those come from? Right, as we can see, destination address is again before source, and the difference between source and destination addresses is 5, right? So we've got 5 of destination and all the rest is source, again contiguous in memory. So what's happening here? It's overwriting the source, obviously, but how is that happening? Let's just observe. So we've got this, so that's part of destination, and then the entire rest of the string is actually overwriting source, right? So if you count these characters, there would be 29, right? So it's putting in those 29, and then we have the remainder of source, right? So I hope you understood what's happening here. So you've got this may overflow destination, and then these characters are from source itself, right? So again, not handling it well. We need to provide enough space. What happens for overlapping? Now let's check that out. So I'm going to comment out this code. Type in memcpy there and provide strlen of s2. Okay, let's see what this does. Okay, there seems to be a semicolon missing there. So what's happened here? First of all, S1 has maintained its integrity. S2, we said start at S2 plus 5, right? So GHIJK, that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And yes, it has started at 5. And you can see it has kept the integrity of this S2, that is the string S2 as well. But we have S1 there, right? Because the address of S1 would be starting here. So it's kind of joined that to S2. If you had to add one more character here, let's say a 1, for example, and now if I ran this, what do you think would happen? Now you can see it's overwritten A, right? So slowly as the length of the string increases, it's overwriting the source. So bottom line is when we compare memcpy against strcpy, we could say that memcpy does a better job as compared to strcpy in terms of overlapping, right? In case of 2 different strings, we saw we need to have enough space in the destination. Right, so memcpy, again, as I said, does a better job than strcpy in terms of overlapping, but again, not the best outcome that we would want. This ends our session. In the next session, we look at some more string functions. Till then, take care, stay safe. Bye.